Authority and respect is earned and not forced on the people you are leading. Hello guys, welcome back here to another video on leadership, and today I wanted to explore more on why I think that authority and respect for you as a leader, it should be earned. And I'll do so in 4 different domains. 1 in a school setting, 2 in a company setting, 3 in a family setting, and 4, and the final one will be in a political setting. And before I start, I wanted to say that we all have been led either in one way or the other. For example, to explain more on this is that if maybe you haven't ever been led when you're in school, you have been led in, if maybe you're working and you've not, and maybe if you're not working, you're in a sovereign state, obviously maybe you have a president or maybe someone who's in charge of that country, so he's your leader in that setting. And on the other flip side, some of us have been leaders, so this video tends to cut across everyone. And to start us off, in a school setting, so true leaders in a school setting, either maybe you're a prefect or a dorm captain, head boy, head girl, a teacher who is a leader in a school setting, a principal, also a cook, so he has some authority over the students. So true leaders in a school understand that authority, rather respect, isn't earned from strict rules or punishment. You should rather foster a conducive environment for the students to be able to nurture their skills, should understand them, lead them with compassion, have a listening ear to their grievances, and be willing to fight for them, for the grievances with their higher power. And some of these things you shouldn't have like fear in leading, because some of the things which the students may want to happen in school, and you see maybe if you take it up to the higher power, the authority, maybe the head of the schools or maybe the principal, to fight for the grievances of the students, because you are there on their behalf. That's why you are elected maybe to be their leader. Sometimes we may have fear that some things may be quite difficult to talk about them, or maybe there may be things that maybe the teachers have already refused for them to happen. But if you think that they are the right thing for them to happen in a school setting, maybe if it's to have one day off to go and listen to some music and cool off and relax from all the studying, and you think it will get you into trouble, that should give you more energy to go and push for it. Because if you believe it's not a bad thing, see, go and listen to music on weekends just to cool off, instead of keeping on reading and reading. See, it gives the brain time to also breathe, and you become more creative after that. And you should be ready, because something like that, maybe it might put your work as a leader on the line. You may be demoted or removed from that position by either the teacher or the principal. But you should be ready to fight for what the students want. If at all, it's not a bad thing, according to you and them. And in doing so, see, you're going to gain much more respect, rather than being a strict person, like maybe following each and every strict rules that it's written on maybe the school, maybe rules and books. If a student or maybe a group of students want something to be changed, and it has been written that it's supposed to be how it is, and you don't want to listen any of that, you just want to go by what the book says, doing so, yeah, people will fear you for the time you'll be there. But what we keep on forgetting is that there'll be a time we'll finish school and we'll go outside and go on and carry on with our lives. And if you are a good person as a leader in school and you cared about their grievances, trust you me, people will be willing to follow you from the day you leave school onwards to your life. maybe go on and start your own business. They'll be the first people to come and work for you. And in doing so, you'll have a good track on leading in that school. You may not be popular among the higher power, the students, the teachers, and maybe the head of school, the director, or the owner of the school. But trust you me, the majority of people who hold the power, you see, what we usually forget is that the people who lead don't have the power of numbers. But the people who are being led, they have the power of numbers. You know, they can hold a strike if they don't want a teacher in that school. And it will happen. The teacher will be removed. The same case, if you get demoted for fighting for their rights, they can again push for you to go back to that position. That's what we should never forget, that the people who put you on that position will always have the power of numbers. And unity is power. If they come together, they can do anything. Either remove you from that position or get you back in if you are removed unfairly for fighting for their rights. So that's on school. Second, it's on a company setting. So on a company setting, I'll say that company leaders, maybe if you're a manager or a CEO or an executive director, we should lead on empathy. We should have empathy on the employees where we are leading them. And it's the same case like a school setting. We should be willing to fight for the employees' rights to the higher power. Here I mean the shareholders. If the employees feel that going this way or taking the company in this direction will be better for us and also the company in future, we should be willing to listen to them. And then go and talk this through with the shareholders and the owner of the company. And this is so because, again, in a company setting, if we take care of the employees, eventually the shareholders will be taken care of. Because this is something which I've seen too, is that a company gets destroyed quickly from inside out. That's meaning that if an employee feels that they are not being heard, their grievances are not being heard by the leaders, whatever maybe they are requesting to be changed, it's not even being discussed. You know, you just mentioned it and it was just brushed it. Maybe the manager just brushed it off and just said, that's not maybe of importance of now, maybe to create profits or so on. But if they start feeling that they're not being heard, soon they start detaching themselves from their work. And eventually, the company will start to suffer in terms of the revenues and the profits. And finally, to either collapse or file for bankruptcy, and eventually the shareholders will lose. And on the flip side, see an employee who is in a place whereby they feel that they're being heard, their needs are being taken care of. See, the leaders are leading them in such a way that they are growing professionally in terms of how they think, their knowledge. Also, they are grooming them to become future leaders. I'm telling you, that employee will go beyond even what their payroll dictates to see this company become successful and improve on its profitability each and every single time. They'll be willing to die for that company. So we should be careful on how we lead in a company. If you're either maybe a leader or a manager or a C-suite or also a shareholder, employees should be the key people who we take care of from the ground up, from the person who is cleaning the floors. I'm telling you, those people are the most important people in that company. Start from them, going upwards. On the third domain is a family setup. So in a family setup, we have a leader. And we all know him. So it can either be a mother or a father, or maybe also you, maybe you're a son to that family or a daughter. can decide to take up charge, but most of the time it's the parent who is the leader. So as a parent, you should lead by creating an environment whereby it's supportive, having a listening ear. And this is what I've been able to observe. We should also be willing to learn and unlearn some of the things that we have carried from the past. You see, your generation as a parent is not the same as our generation. So how you are being raised as a child, it's not the same because things have changed. And this is what I've seen, that if you want to, majority of parents are leading like a dictator. So it's either my way or the highway. So if we don't do what they say should be done, there will be conflict. And it may get physical, either mental or verbal arguments. And that's because they're not willing to debate. And sometimes some things, some of these big issues are usually solved by just debating and seeing what the other side thinks on what you've just told them to do. For example, maybe you're a parent and you want to send your child to this shop, but they say that they don't want to go. And it's not because they're disrespecting you, it's because maybe they had something that they had planned and it was urgent for them to do that right there and then. And they haven't refused. They just said that they don't want to go right now, they can go later. And just because you don't want to hear the reason why, you start becoming, it may get even physical sometimes. Or you just see that maybe they're disrespecting you. And majority of the time, if we lead in such a manner that we are not willing to listen to what our kids, their side of the story, and debate about it, you see, yes, they will be fearing you, they'll be maybe obeying what you say because out of fear. And that's because they need you now, because it's a right. They need you for shelter and maybe finances here for education, because they rely on you. That's why they know they have to obey you, because they fear that you'll take what they rely on you away from them. But trust you me, the minute that they are able to carry themselves, they are financially stable, have maybe a stable job, they'll cease to associate, they detach themselves from you. So it's quite key in a family setup. One, have a listening ear to everyone. Be willing to learn and unlearn the things that you have carried over the years on how to lead a family. And also, be willing to accept positive and negative criticism from your kids. It's not that, you see, maybe they have seen something that, maybe a bad behavior from you, from somewhere else, and they want that you to change it. But if they come and tell you that you need to change it, you become abusive sometimes, just because you don't believe that a child should tell you not to do something, or maybe should tell you how to do things. And all this time they're trying also to make you to be a better person. You see, you have all these good qualities, but this one bad act is spoiling it for you. So we should be also ready to accept positive and negative criticism. And if you do so, I'm telling you, your kids will be able to support you even after they become independent. They will always be coming back to visit you, seeing how well you're doing, having fun. And also creating, you see, you'll also be able to create a very positive environment around the house for them to be able to flourish. Because sometimes we usually forget that the environment we set around in the house usually has a direct impact, has a direct correlation on how our kids even fare, from school to life, to how they do things, to the business, to their social life, to their friends, to everyone. So we should never forget about that. And the final one is on the political arena. So politicians, should earn respect and authority by 1. Having transparency in governance, and 2. doing actually what they say they'll do during their campaigns after they get in the office. So being committed to their communities or the constituents, the people who elected them. So if they say that they come and help you out, improve your social life, economical, after they get in power, they should be able now to come there and start now brainstorming with everyone on how to improve the lives of each and everyone. And also how they lead. They should have transparency in each and every single thing. If maybe it's the national government, they should have the transparency of how the revenues are being collected, the number which has been collected, where the revenue is being distributed. And we should own it that the revenue is each and everyone's money. It's not their money. Because I've seen the tendency of them saying that they have donated some money to go build some school there, or they have donated some money to go build some road. They keep on forgetting that it's not their money. It's all of our money combined. 10 shillings from that guy, 1,000,000 shillings from that business guy, maybe 1,000 shillings from that other guy. So it gets combined to the total amount of revenue, which again pays them. They usually forget this. We are the ones who pay them. And in return, they should return back with doing us a service, like serving us. And again, what they forget is that how we elected them, we can easily de-elect them. We can easily remove them from the position. And how they treat us when they're in that position, majority of the time has a direct relation with how they'll be treated once they are scrapped off their power, their security, their chase cars, their money, their passports. So once their term limit is over and maybe they are not lucky enough to do some corrupt business and gain wealth in an unlawful manner. So if they are not lucky to do so, once they get out of office, they won't have the financial support that they had, which was protecting them when they were in that office. And if they come back and live among us again, no one will be willing to stand by them or even support them based on how they treated us when they were there. If you are good, see, this is the nature of the laws. It's the nature. It's how nature is. Treat me good, I treat you good back. See, scratch my back, I scratch yours. How you treat others is a direct correlation of how they will treat you later on when you have nothing. And also, like I said in a past video, is that a character of the man can be greatly determined by how he treats someone who has nothing to offer them. So we should be careful as politicians, whether I've been elected in a small post, maybe an MCA or a senator or a governor, to the president level, that you're not above the law or anyone. In fact, you are beneath the people who have elected you. The people who have elected you are above you because they can remove you. See, a coup can happen in any country. If you feel that we have been oppressed too much, like I told you, the power in numbers. We are 8 million voters against 1. Even the people who are protecting you, they are also feeling they're being oppressed back in their families. See, the food prices are up high, the taxes are high, everything. So you're not leading by caring about them. You are caring about your own self-interest or maybe your own generation. And if you do so and you're not careful about it, it will come back and bite you after your term limit is over. And as I finish, we should not forget that as leaders, earning trust and respect and authority is quite powerful. in the right manner from the people we lead. Because at the end, if we want a good cause to happen, we can inspire these people who we are leading to come and join us in doing a certain cause. And they will be able to come voluntarily if you led them in a good way. You earned their trust by the actions that you portrayed once you got into that leadership role. They'll be willing to fight besides you. And on the flip side, if you gained your trust, rather not, you didn't even gain their trust, you gained your authority by instilling fear on the people you led. Once, you see, you will never be able to inspire them to do anything. They won't do anything just because you say so. See, sometimes they just do things because they fear, and some others who are hard-headed, they won't do anything. They won't even fear, even if you want to kill them or punish them because of not obeying what you do. And with that, thank you.